Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you are all doing well. If you are new to my channel, my name is Heather, and here at Heather's Book Review, I typically like to read and review thrillers with the occasional super hyped up fiction novel. Sometimes I like to dive into a little bit of YA. Currently I'm reading Ninth House, and I have a full playlist here on my channel of all of the book reviews for a Court of Thorns and Roses series. But typically, I'm a thriller reader. And if you're someone that's not new to my channel, you know I love the thrillers. I was super excited for this one. This was my book of the month, December choice. I saw this all over Bookstagram too. If you don't follow my book Instagram, it's super simple, same handle, just Heather's Book Review. And this is where I'm seeing like what everybody picks and what everybody else thinks of the book. But I typically don't like to read other people's reviews until I have fully read the book myself because I don't like to spoil it. I go into all of my books completely blind for the most part. So this title kind of like gives you a very good idea of what the book is about. But yeah, I went into it basically blind, and I'm super excited to give you guys my non-spoiler review. If you're new to my channel, I always design my videos as a non-spoiler review. Then I tell you what I'm rating the book and what I personally really liked about the book. And then I have a book chat part of the video for those of us who have read. So I'm just gonna move my head a little bit so you guys could see the thrillers that I have up on our fireplace mantle. I will be reviewing No Exit, The Girl in the Mirror, and I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. Also for the month of February. And the fourth book of A Court of Thorns and Roses is coming out in February. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have my review for that up in early March, but you never know. I may be super excited and just need to review it in February. Oh my gosh, I literally feel a hair stuck to my lipstick. Okay, so I told you guys I went into this book completely blind. And then I found out after I had read it and was finally actually reading people's reviews, not just their star rating, but what they actually thought of it, that this is not a retelling, but a spin on Jane Eyre, which I've actually never read Jane Eyre. So, I mean, I kind of have an idea of what I guess Jane Eyre is about, but just know that going into this, because I don't know, almost everybody was referencing that in their reviews. And I was like, I literally can't talk about, or I can't touch on this because I've never read it. Okay, so our book basically starts off with a very young, just fresh out of school college girl named Jane, and she is a dog walker for very wealthy people, and you can tell that she has this sort of disdain for the wealthy. She is walking all of their dogs and basically gives you, the reader, some insight that she just can't stand them. She thinks that, they all live these really, privileged lives, and she thinks that, their personalities are just dull and that they're all just a bunch of gossipers and they have nothing of real importance going on in their lives, so to speak. So yeah, she really just this is a good gig for her. She drives a long time to walk these dogs, and she gets paid a decent amount of money, but she cannot stand the people that she walks the dogs for. So she's walking one of the dogs one day, and a guy, Eddie, is backing out of his car and literally almost runs her over. So I kind of forget the scene. I don't know if it was she was intentionally standing there. I don't think so. But Eddie feels so bad, and he's like, you know what, why don't you come into my house and I can at least give you a coffee. I remember it was a really rainy day. And he's like, at least have a refreshment to warm you up. So as she's talking to Eddie inside the house, she can tell it's beautifully decorated. She's like, okay, this guy has to have an amazing wife who has done all of this decorating, because she's saying oh, he can't have done this himself. This definitely has a woman's touch, blah, blah, blah. And anyways, they're kind of flirting a little bit. Eddie's flirting with her. There's absolutely no sign of a wife. And he eventually tells her that he's going to get a dog too. But he says it in sort of a sexy way. I think as a reader, you're supposed to understand that he's getting a dog just so he can see Jane every day. because obviously she would like come to his house to then walk his dog. So you're kind of like, you're a little bit intrigued by him then, because you're like, wait, aren't you married? Like, look at this beautiful house. Like, where's your wife? Is she okay with you getting a dog? Does she even know that you want to get a dog? So as the days go on, she starts to hear this gossip from all the women in the neighborhood. You know, when she picks up the dog, when she picks up their dogs, they're always like gossiping with each other, either in person or on the phone. So she starts to hear this gossip about Eddie's wife, that she potentially died in a boat accident with another wife from the neighborhood. But it seems very sketchy. Like, even just in hearsay from what she's hearing the women gossip with each other, it sounds weird. She hears that apparently none of the women's stuff was like even on the boat. Like, they didn't take a purse or drinks or anything. Like, so it makes you think like, well, if you're gonna go out boating, I mean, I don't go out boating a lot, but I would assume it's not just like a quick, you know, you're out for 30 minutes and you're back in. I would assume it would at least be like an hour or a few hours ordeal. You'd probably want to bring drinks and some sandwiches and, I don't know, some belongings, maybe some towels. So she's trying to like figure out what's going on. And basically that is the very, very beginning of the book. I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'm just going to stop talking about it. That's going to be the end of my non-spoiler premise. And now I'm going to tell you what I rated the book and who I think would like this book. So for my rating overall on Goodreads, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And for my personal rating, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. The book is good. Okay, the book in its entirety is very, very gripping. You're reading it, you want to know what happens. You find out a little bit more about Jane's past, and you're like, ooh, this is interesting. Like, she has some sketchy stuff going on. You find out a lot more about Eddie and what really happened to his wife, and it's good. However, the ending is not that great. I actually didn't think the ending was good at all, but it wasn't terrible enough for me to give this anything less than a 4-star, if that makes sense, because I enjoyed reading the book so much, and I truly think that it was thrilling. I think it definitely deserves the category of thriller. I feel like lately I've been reading a lot of books that are just like, in my opinion, miscategorized, and this is definitely a thriller. It's good. The ending isn't that great. For my part of the video of who would like this book, seriously, anyone that really just likes, I would say that this is a fast-paced thriller for sure. If you don't mind like a super amazing ending, but you enjoyed the ride kind of thing, then you would like this book for sure. It is good. I'm definitely happy that I read it. And I think that if you're looking for something quick and something that will like keep your interest, this would definitely be the book for you. I also do want to add, if you liked The Last Mrs. Parrish and Verity, this book has vibes from both of those books. Now, don't come for me, Verity lovers. You guys know that was one of my top 3 books of 2020. This is nowhere near as good as Verity. I'm sorry, it's not. But it has some sort of like vibes from the book, which you'll get when you read it. And also The Last Mrs. Parrish, which I didn't like, but I know a lot of you guys loved it. It definitely has some sort of vibes from that book as well. So those were the 2 books that I would say if you enjoyed either of those books, you'll probably enjoy this one as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into the book chat part of the video for those of us who have read. So if you're new to my channel, I would love if you could hit that subscribe button before you leave and that post notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new bookish related video, which is every Tuesday. Oops, I almost dropped my laptop. I post on my channel every Tuesday, and I'm very active on my book Instagram as well. I love chatting with you guys on there. I love doing polls about what book I should read next, or if you guys have any recommendations. So would love to chat with you there. But now for all of my friends who have read, we have to get chatting. Okay. I struggled liking any of the characters in this book. I felt like Jane was super annoying. I felt like all she did was gossip about, or all she did was hate on the girls in the neighborhood that did gossip. Like, she didn't want to be like them at all. She didn't want to be one of those, like, Stepford housewives kind of women. But then she becomes one, and then she gets her feelings hurt when she's not, like, fully accepted by them. That part was annoying. It was like, okay, if you don't like them, then why would you care if they're accepting of you or not? Like, they're obviously not going to be. It kind of was giving me vibes of, like, old money versus new money, kind of like Great Gatsby-esque, where they're just not going to be accepting of Jane. I mean, she's fresh out of school. She was their dog walker. You know what I mean? So naturally, they're going to look down on her because that's just the kind of women that they seem to be. But, she annoyed me. B obviously was nuts. Eddie is just a master manipulator. The whole thing of, like, where he met her, he was on a vacation with one of his girlfriends, met B, and then just, like, straight up left the girlfriend that he was with to be with B. It was like, this guy is just chasing his road to, like, money. That's essentially his motto, right? I'm so happy that I take notes on these because I read this book like a couple of months ago, and I totally forgot that B killed her mom by pushing her down the stairs. But anyways, the piece of the ending that I was like, okay, so are we supposed to just guess or, like, infer that Eddie started the fire because it was his only way of getting out of the bunker? That's how I understood it, because I believe in the book, in his point of view, he was saying, like, there's only one way to escape from here, and, like, I know how to do it. But I'm also confused because they said that they only found, I believe, like, teeth at the crime scene, and Eddie did get his teeth, like, knocked out or whatever when the girls were, like, beating him up. But I don't think they ever found any evidence of B. So did she escape, or did she die with Eddie? And also, I thought it was annoying that, like, he gave Jane all of his fortune. I felt like, because he obviously still loved B, right, if he was keeping her alive, but then he gives his entire fortune to Jane. And I was like, wait, if you're keeping B alive, doesn't that mean that you have, like, hope that you and her are going to be together again? But now you're giving away everything that B worked for, and, like, everything that, like, basically all of your finances. I did not understand that. I felt like the author just kind of put that in there for, like, a happy ending for Jane. I don't know, maybe this is similar to, like, the ending of Jane Eyre. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't read it, nor do I plan on reading it. But yeah, the ending was just like, it was just, didn't leave you on a cliffhanger. You're just like, oh, wow, well, that's a nice happy ending for Jane, I guess, Overall, I really enjoyed reading this book. I read it very quickly, and I just had a good time reading it. Yes, I was bummed, about the ending, but it doesn't discount everything else that was good about the book. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about this, and I will see you in my next review. Bye, you guys.